Hello, everybody. Okay, I was having some technical issues, so I'm going to make sure to go ahead and update the link in the community because at the moment it is the incorrect one. So we're going to paste that link here, and then I need to go and do that in the calendar as well. Okay, so we should be good. Okay. Now, let's dive in and talk all about how to thrive through the holidays. So, this is definitely um, a tricky time where it can be in our fitness routines and in just trying to feel good, trying to feel like ourselves, right? There's so much going on. We have so many different commitments, like places we need to be, so many things we need to get done. My to-do list this week is full of things that all feel incredibly urgent because Christmas is next week. Like, what the heck happened? And so, with all of that, it's really, really easy for our workouts, for our health routine, for ourselves to end up on the back burner. And that's not what we want. We want to prioritize ourselves during this time because that is how we can enjoy Christmas season the most. That is how we can um, really be present for our families the most. That's how we don't want to go into it feeling stressed, feeling like we are just spread thin um, and just feeling like we don't have any energy to actually enjoy the holidays. Like we want to be a part of them and enjoy them. So, excuse me. So, I want to share just some of my tips for how to do that, how to thrive through the holidays. So, um, I have just a few notes so that I don't forget what I wanted to share. But the first thing is thinking about our minimum viable workout. We created that as something that could be that you can stick with no matter what's going on. So if your minimum viable workout is 5, 10 minutes a day, the idea is yes, that makes it easier to not skip in your normal day to day life. But the whole idea of the minimum plan is you have this for those days that are the most chaotic, especially. So it's something you can lean into even on those days. And then on the days that you have more energy, it's great if you want to build on that. But the bare minimum, we want to be able to stick with it even on our crazy days. And so this is a beautiful time to lean into that, to lean into um, just being okay with the bare minimum, with that not meaning anything about us, but use that as the win during this time. Normally, Christmas time is the time for many of us when we would just throw in the towel and say, "It doesn't matter, I'll start over on New Year's." And, and with our workouts, with our eating, with all of the things, with all of our habits, just kind of throwing all of them to the wind and saying it doesn't matter, I'll get back to it. But remember that saying that is saying that we don't matter during this time, that for these 2 weeks, we're just gonna decide that everybody else or all of the to-do lists or all of the events or all of the other things are more important than we are. And that's not true. Okay. We have to um, very proactively prioritize ourselves if we are going to be going into the holidays feeling our best. So the first thing is really leaning into that minimum viable workout, minimum viable eating plan, whatever it is that you have, um, and seeing that as the win. We are building consistency here and consistency that you can stick to even through the craziness of the holidays. That is a major win. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing, it's basically the same thing. I don't know why I put that. So the next thing is planning things out ahead of time. So the craziness of the season just means that it takes a little bit more intention than maybe it usually does. So where we might be able to kind of just fall back on our routines a bit more when we're in a routine, during this time, a lot of us are outside of our normal routines. And so we can't tend to just fall back on the decisions that just naturally happen in our days because our days are different. Our days are a little crazier. So for example, today I am um, going and volunteering for a Christmas party for some local families, and that that's going to be from 2:30 to 6:30 plus tonight. So they've asked people who are in the second shift to stay late and help clean up. So I might not get home till 7:30 or 8. But, my normal routine is that fixing dinner is my time for me. My husband takes care of the boys, and I get to go be in the kitchen by myself. And so my normal routine is that it's a little bit easier to prioritize healthy eating. I know tonight what I'm going to want to do is to say, "Screw it," and stop and pick up pizza on the way home. But because I've decided that my health still matters during this time, my choices still matter, the way that I feel still matters during this time. I am going to be proactive today. I'm going to plan ahead, and I have spaghetti squash that has been already cooked. It's in the freezer, so I'm just gonna move it to the fridge, and then I'm going to ask my hubby to put on some meatballs and sauce, whenever before I leave so that we can eat as soon as I get home. So I am going to make it as simple as possible, but I am going to plan ahead and bring that intention into every day so that I don't just throw in the towel for the next 2 weeks because I still matter during these next 2 weeks. And that's what I want us to lean into. So the question is, what can you plan ahead of time? How can you approach each day here with some extra intention? Because it does take extra intention right now. So that's thinking of things like what events do you have coming up? And what are going to be the options for food at those events? So we have a Christmas party on Wednesday night with our church family or like home group. And so everybody's bringing finger foods. So I know there's going to be plenty of options for things um, that are not going to be the most healthy. And the easiest thing to do for something like that would be to bring a veggie tray, but I kind of hate raw veggies, and so bringing a veggie tray is great for everybody else, but I know I won't eat it. So I'm getting a little bit creative, and I'm going to experiment, and I'm going to try some things um, that I have not made before, which is probably not the wisest, but um, I'm gonna experiment and try some things that are healthier that others will enjoy, but that I can eat too, and know that I am at least making sure that there are some options that are gonna fuel my body well. I can also make sure that for events like that where it's like a lot of finger food, I can also make sure that I've had maybe not a full meal, but maybe like one of my protein shakes before I go, so that I'm not like starving. My Sorry, my video is not mirrored today, and it's making me crazy. I don't know which way is like right and left, but um, sorry for that ADD moment. So I want to make sure that I am thinking ahead about those things. And this also goes for our workout too. So if you are somebody who does your workout on your lunch break, do you have that opportunity, like for your days off, if you have extra days off during this next 2 weeks, how can you kind of plan around that? Or for me, what tends to happen is my hubby has days off, and on his days off, he really likes for us both to sleep in. And um, so that I'm not waking him up when I get up at 5 or so that I'm actually there whenever he wakes up. And so what I did over Thanksgiving was kind of we found a little bit of like a compromise. Like there were 1 or 2 days, I think Thanksgiving Day and the day of his birthday or the day we celebrated his birthday. I picked 2 days during that week that I was like, I will sleep in with you. And one of those, maybe I got my workout in like later in the day, and the other one I said I wasn't going to worry about it. Um, and so I will probably do something like that on the days that he's off of work because he takes quite a few off in a row, which is really nice. It's a blessing. And so I can sometimes tend to tell my kind of gaslight myself and tell myself that, this is a blessing that he's here and we just want to take advantage of it and you need the sleep and like I can come up with all the reasons, right? But if I can make my plan now for how I'm going to address that for those days that he's off, I can plan ahead and I can make sure that I am striking that balance of, yeah, still taking advantage of some extra sleep and taking advantage of extra time with him and taking advantage of the extra help with the kids, but also making sure that I'm still setting aside that time for myself, whether it is first thing in the morning or whether I find a way to get it in later in the day too. So um, just planning ahead like that is so powerful. Along those lines, planning out your treats ahead of time. So if you know, like I mentioned, for example, we have this party coming up on Wednesday night. So I can go, I know that there's going to be a lot of treats there. I know there's going to be a lot of finger foods, probably some desserts, probably a lot of not the most healthy options. But I can think about, I have some favorites that I tend to prefer for stuff like this. Um, and I can choose, I'm going to prioritize the one dessert that's most worth it to me. When I get there, I'm going to look at all the dessert options and choose one. And then when it comes to the other finger foods, I'm going to choose one to two maybe that aren't the most healthy, but that I really enjoy. Um, and maybe there are some I one of the things that I really enjoy is any sort of, like, meatballs or, like, the mini sausages, so, like, they're still, maybe not the best option because they are drowning in what I like to call accessories, sauces, and whatever, but they are protein, and so, kind of focusing more on those options that maybe it's heavy in accessories, but it is, like, pure protein, and fat, but kind of focusing on what are the options here that would help me the most, like, let's start with those, and then add on and prioritize the ones that are gonna be most worth it to me. Maybe on Christmas Day, um, your family has a special dish that they tend to make, and that is your absolute favorite. Or, I don't know why I can think of, like, Thanksgiving foods easier than Christmas ones. So, like, for Thanksgiving, my one of my favorites is pumpkin pie. I'm going to have pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, like, that's a must. And so I'm going to prioritize that. The other desserts can take a back seat, especially when I'm in weight loss mode, like, I'm not going to be, um, trying all the different things, but I can prioritize the one thing that matters the most to me. And so I'm gonna set aside some space on my plate for pumpkin pie, but that doesn't mean like I need to load it down with everything else. So I'm gonna be planning ahead for that. I know the dessert that my family makes or the dish that my family makes that's like the best, and I'm going to prioritize that. My mom tends to make bread from scratch. I'm for sure gonna prioritize that. Um, so things like that, just thinking ahead, is there a dish you know is going to be there that you really want to enjoy? So prioritize that and then fill your plate up with other things that are going to nourish you, that are going to fill you up and help you to feel your best. And if you need to, you volunteer to be the person that brings some of those things. Okay, so we talked about really relying on that minimum viable plan. We talked about focusing on that minimum as the win during these next couple of weeks, which is why I rescheduled the call for today because that the topic of scaling our workouts, I think, is one that a lot of us are ready for and like we really need to lean into. But I feel like the timing on that when I scheduled that was really poor, because that's probably not where we're at for the next couple of weeks. Like, let's get through the holidays and then start the new year off, with that mindset. For the next couple of weeks, I want us to just look at that minimum viable plan as the win. And then, planning things out ahead of time is huge. Also, do things each day that will help you start your day off feeling your best. So, for me, that's a workout, prioritizing getting that movement in, that time by myself each day, that is time moving my body, where by the end of it, I feel less stiff, I feel more energized, I feel more ready for my day. And it kind of creates some momentum going into my day too. It helps me to choose a better breakfast, to start drinking water right off the bat at the beginning of the day. Usually, I am not very good at drinking water first thing, but if I start with a workout, I'm chugging the water most times. And so that kind of helps set that momentum up for the rest of the day. So doing those things at the beginning of the day can really make a big difference to get that momentum going. And then the last thing is, um, oh, I already said that, prioritize your treats. So that kind of goes along with the making that plan ahead of time, making your plan for your workout, making your plan for what foods you're going to bring to the different events, making your plans for how you are going to handle the new, new routines or new schedules during this time for which food specifically you're going to prioritize, which treats are worth it to you, and which foods you're going to use to bring to the different events and to fill your plate up with so that you can feel your best while still enjoying the treats. This is like I am so not about just cutting things out. I think we still need to enjoy things. And so choose the ones that are most worth it to you. Make the rest of your plate something that's going to make you feel your best because you do deserve to feel your best during this time. Just because the holidays are crazy is not a reason to throw in the towel. We can do it in a sustainable way. So remember your bare minimum plan. What is your minimum commitment that you're focused on right now? Let's lean into that. Let's celebrate consistency with that. And remember that in doing that, you are prioritizing yourself and you're prioritizing feeling your best through the holidays so that you're not stressed, you're not exhausted all the time, you're not feeling like you just can't keep up with everything that's going on. We don't have that brain fog. We definitely don't want that brain fog right now. So um, remember that you still matter during this time, and we're going to use choices that reinforce that, that make you feel your best. Excuse me. So let's do it. I am in the spirit of that going to go and get my workout in now so that I can start today feeling good. I know it's going to be a crazy one. So I want you to do the same. Prioritize your health today. Let's make this a good week and let's lean into that consistency and that accountability together. One quick note I do want to say before I hop off. Because I had originally planned the scaling your workout workshop for today. I also had um, extended the deadline for the accountability post. So that will still be applicable today. So I will do the accountability post reviews tomorrow. And then next week we're back to a Monday check-in. The week after we'll be doing that scaling the workout workshop. And so again, that accountability post will be extended to Tuesday. You'll have until Tuesday morning early to check in so that we can talk about that process, that accountability check-in process. So anyway, I wanted to make sure to mention that. So I will see you all in the community.